Hello, and welcome to Cozy Cat Press's podcast. My name is Tina, and today I'm speaking with Doug and Sheryl Riley about their latest cozy mystery. Doug and Sheryl co-wrote and edited the novel Killer Lead, a Duplicate Bridge Club mystery. I spoke with them about their experience and the process of writing a book as a married couple.
Hi, I'm Doug Riley.
I'm Sheryl Riley. We're the co-authors of the book called Killer Lead, published by Cozy Cat Press.
What are both of your writing and literary backgrounds prior to the novel, The Killer Lead?
Right. At least for me, it's not a natural place to be. I grew up as a math science guy and have a PhD in mathematics. I actually teach at a local college here in Birmingham. We have been going to Dragon Con for several years. That's a sci-fi fantasy convention in Atlanta. It's really large. They have a writer's track. So when I got tired during the day, I would retreat to the writer's track and listen to them talk about writing sci-fi and fantasy. And it was interesting and intriguing. And there was connections to mathematical models and mathematical thinking too. So I applied for a sabbatical at my college to write a fantasy novel. And they accepted that proposal. I finished it. It was pretty good, I think, but it never saw the light of day. I kind of wanted to continue with writing, and Sheryl is a cozy mystery fan. And so we moved to that, partly because that genre, the novels are just a lot shorter. Sci-fi fantasy, you're looking at 200,000 words. Cozy mysteries, closer to 75,000 words. So it's more doable while you're working full time.
With the sabbatical project, really, I read and did editing and critiquing generally, but it wasn't something I could help with the writing on. I do some of the reading of that genre, but I didn't feel like I had enough expertise to really help with any of that. But the cozy mysteries, I felt like I could help do some of the writing and help.
Sheryl's been doing the mystery thing her entire life. So she been reading mysteries since she was a kid. I always went the science fiction fantasy route. So I like Tolkien and Robert Jordan and things like that.
I grew up reading, Nancy Drew and then into the Agatha Christie's. And
so she's kind of the mystery expert.
Tell me about the inspirations for writing this book.
Well, when we started talking about writing a cozy in the first place, one of the first things they always say in the writer sessions is write what you know.
And just for the record, we don't know murder. No. Never committed one. Didn't have anything to do with that. We don't know murder.
But we also knew we needed a theme for a cozy mystery series. Cozies have themes. And so trying to figure out what made sense for us as a theme that hadn't already been done a lot of times, where our interests lay. Both of us play duplicate bridge, and we really like that. It's something we've done as a couple since we got married a long time ago. And so we thought, let's see if there's any duplicate bridge cozy mysteries out there. And we looked around and found a couple, but not very many. And so we thought, that's a place we can go. It's going to be unique, and hopefully it'll get some interest.
Can you describe how to play bridge?
Oh, goodness, that's kind of hard. Standard deck of cards, and it's a trick-taking game. So everybody gets 13 cards. You go through a phase that's called a bidding phase, where you determine what the trump suit is, or if you're going to have trump suit, and how many tricks you think your side can make. It's a partnership game, so you're working with the person sitting across from you at the table. You have to have 4 to play. And so you go through that bidding phase. Once you get done with the bidding phase, you have the trick-taking phase. And if you make your contract, you get a plus score. And if you don't make what you said you were going to make, you get a negative score. So that's very basic.
And we're both from the Midwest. We grew up playing euchre and spades and all of those other trick-taking games. He grew up playing pinochle as well. I did not. Yeah. And so it was kind of a natural progression into bridge for us, I think. But if you've never played any trick-taking games like any of those, it's much more it sounds much more complicated.
Describe the challenges of writing a book together. How did you balance family and writing?
Well, the first book, I think, ended up being a very different process from the second book, which we've actually just sent in to Patricia. It's not published yet, but we're hoping it will be in the near future. The first book, we kind of alternated back and forth. He would write a few chapters, I would write a chapter. I did more of the editing and proofreading for sure. He did more of the writing, but it was a little more mixed, I would say. We argued about character development a lot.
Yeah, we argued about plot.
Yeah, so he likes to work late at night, and I don't. So we would talk about what was coming up in the book, where we were, the timeline, and then I'd go to bed and I'd get up the next day and, go to work, come home, have dinner, and read what he had written and go, that is not what we talked about at all. Yeah. Like, they're not even in the right building and it's not the right people. And this is wrong. And he goes, yeah, but it just made more sense that way. And so then we'd kind of go, okay, well, now we're here. Where do we go from here? And then every once in a while, we'd backtrack to something that just wasn't working out and work from it. We changed a couple chapters after the book was done pretty extensively after we did a read through.
Yeah, I mean, there's different writing styles out there. I really want to be a plotter and have an outline, know exactly where I'm going, and just need to fill in the pieces. But I can't do that. I'm more of a by the seat of your pants writer. If I do the plot, I find it boring to write according to the plot. So I just kind of write and see what happens. And sometimes it's a good direction, and sometimes it gets us in trouble, but then you have to be a little bit more clever on how to get out of trouble.
Tell me about the fun experiences and what you learned about yourselves and each other while writing this book.
I learned that she's picky. She believes in English grammar and subject-verb agreement and capital letters and periods and all those things, which are beautiful and nice, and I like them too. I'm just not as good at using them. Oh yeah, spelling, it should all be phonetically based, and it's just not, and it's wrong. I've learned that I don't know how to spell some of my characters' names.
Yes.
And that's scary because some of those names come from family names. So these are, great grandparents and things like that.
Yeah, actually, most of the names in the book were surnames. Surnames or first names. We never actually took a full name from somebody.
Yeah, we didn't use any full names, but we mixed them up.
Both sides of the family. I learned that he doesn't follow directions well, but he's a good writer, so it works.
You should have known that years ago. You married me, you knew that I didn't follow directions well.
I keep hoping.
Thank you again to Doug and Sheryl for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me. And make sure you get a copy of Killer Lead via Amazon. Thanks for listening.